everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today it is so hot in Chongqing, it's 27 degrees and we are just trying to take it slow and not do too much, and I thought that I would film a video today, and the video that I want to do is all about upcoming releases. Now this is something that I particularly like to watch because I am quite lazy, and I think if I watch a video that's about upcoming book releases, then I don't have to go and do the work myself, right? So I'm not just going to do books, I'm also going to do films and TV shows. Now, I am not really a big film person. I do like TV shows and I do like documentaries, but there are a few films this year that are coming out that I definitely want to get to if they come out in China. Firstly, I'm going to talk about books because that's kind of like my domain, right? So the first book that we're going to talk about is Ashley Poston's The Summer Day Garden. Now this is coming out in June, and I have had quite good luck with Ashley Poston books in the past. So The 7 Year Slip was a really good book, so I'm hoping that this is equally as solid, and I think it's very much in the same kind of thread. It's a romance with magical realism, and I like that because we don't really get enough of that kind of like in the book world. And I like when romances have this kind of like cozy feel, and you're not necessarily, it's not a dark romance, you've not got some kind of like romancy where there's high stakes, high drama. This is a bit more cozy and like calm, and I like that. I love that. So yeah, this book also has some tropes that we know and we love, and that is found family. I love that. We've got grumpy and we've got a sunshine, and also I think there might be a love triangle, some kind of love triangle. I don't know. I am very much interested in what's going to happen there. So yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be a good book. I'm really looking forward to it, but I don't want it to be too emotional. And the second one is one that I think I don't really need to say too much about, but I'm definitely going to say quite a lot about it, and that is the ACOTAR 6 book by Sarah J Maas. Now, I'm currently on a reread of the ACOTAR series, and yeah, I need to kind of get into the headspace. I need to get back into this world, back into the characters, and I've not read any information about this. I don't know if there's like a blurb out or anything like that. I don't know. I've kind of put it to the back of my mind. I want to avoid it if possible because I'm trying to hold off. I'm trying to get to release day. I don't want to know anything. And there's been such a gap between the last book that we got and this one that I think that's a good thing in a way. Obviously, we're all desperate for the book. But yeah, I need to kind of like have that recap because I literally do not know anything at this point. And yeah, we don't really know very much, but what we do know is going to be high stakes. I think we know that it's Sarah J Maas, it's going to be amazing, but we don't really know, where's it gonna go? We don't know. And it's obviously not going to end in this book because there's another one coming out literally a couple of months later. So we know that something's going to happen in this book, but it's not necessarily going to be the big ending there. So I think this book is going to focus a lot more on Elaine because we haven't really had that. We haven't had that character development. We haven't really had focus on that particular character yet. But yeah, we might get thrown a curveball and it might be something we do not expect, and we really don't know. It's just that it could go that way. But yeah, I hope we get to see our beloved characters, all of them, and I hope that we get to see a lot more growth. And I think there's going to even be more world building, and yeah, there's the whole Maas universe, right? I don't want to say too much about it because I feel like you need to have either read it, you need to have read Crescent City, blah, 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 blah. But there's going to be a lot more going on in the world. Well, I'm hopeful anyway for that. The next book is Alice Oseman's The Heartstopper 6. So I am the biggest fan, and I also have the whole collection apart from this book, so of course I'm going to purchase it as soon as it comes out. I might have to order it though in the UK. Probably won't be able to get it here. And yeah, I'm such a huge fan and I need this book immediately. It's the final installment in the story of Nick and Charlie, and yeah, it's really sad because it's the last one. It's bittersweet. It's like so emotional. I love the story. And I also really love the show, actually. I think that, yeah, it's a really, really good kind of like representation of teenagers and like emotions and like growing up and all of that kind of stuff, and like difficulties that we face as teenagers, and yeah, also the joy in friendship. So I think that it's just a very, very amazing story, an amazing book, an amazing show, and not enough people have probably read the books. They've probably watched the show, they've not read the books. And yeah, I think in this book there's going to be a lot of change, there's going to be adjustment, there's going to be highs and lows. I think there's just going to be everything, and I just don't really know what to expect. I think there's just going to be good and bad, but hopefully there's more good because I want it to end on a high note. I'm hoping it ends really well. The next book is The Fey and Alchemy Book 3 by Callie Hart. Now this hasn't got a title, it's just Book 3 in the Fey and Alchemy series, and I'm really excited for this, even though I have not read Brimstone yet, and I'm kind of putting it off, to be honest, because I really think that that's my book to read when I'm on my 3-week like UK trip. I just don't know why I've kind of set myself up to read it during that trip, whether it's on the plane or whatnot. I don't know. But I love this first book. The second book, I think it's going to be equally as good. And then, yeah, I'm excited for the third book. And this is coming out November 10th, 2026. So obviously I've got time. You've got time if you've not read any of the series. It's such a good series. This is the final part, and it's going to be more high stakes. There's going to be intensity and there's going to be drama, because the first book, there was loads of that. I'm assuming the second book is going to be exactly the same. And yeah, it being the final book, I mean, you can't not have drama, right? And just the vibes of this series, I really like it. It's different, it's intense, it's emotional, and it's got a lot of dark vibes. And we also have a lot of chemistry between our characters. The next one is one that I've talked about a little bit on this channel, the first book in the series anyway, and yeah, I'm disappointed that I've not left reading the first book to a little bit later, because now I just cannot wait for book 2. So I felt that I had to include it in this list, because for me it's probably one of my most anticipated reads for this year, and that's the Evermore Trilogy Book 2 by Julie Soto. Now, I think that this was probably my favourite book. Book 1 was probably the best one for me, and it's really hard that I'm having to wait, because Rosie in Chains was just up there for me as the best of the best, 5-star. And this one is actually coming out in the US in December, but in the UK in January. So I did include it in this because for me, I'm able to get American editions of books in China. And also, if I go see my sister in Korea, it's all American editions of books. So hopefully I can get my hands on this ASAP, because I just love this series, and I hope that it's a direct continuation of where we left off in book 1. Sometimes books don't work that way, you kind of like skip ahead in time or whatever, but I need to know where we were in the last part of that book. It was like a cliffhanger, it was just like an intense moment. Why did the book finish there? So I need to know, because it was just so tension filled. I just can't cope, basically. So I think we're gonna get a lot more emotional angst. I think we're gonna just see so many different new things, especially from Tovin. I feel like he's gonna be the one that has the character development. I don't know, that's just what I think. And even though this is a slow burn, I think in this book there's not going to be as much slow burn. I mean, I'm hoping that there's not as much slow burn in this book, because I think the pace is going to pick up a little bit. And obviously this is a trilogy, so it's not all going to happen in this book, and we're not going to, get the final result or anything like that, because there's a third book. But I think the middle one, hopefully it doesn't just like kind of peter out. We need a little bit more progression. So I'm really looking forward to that. Actually, I think it's the most anticipated read for me. Another one that is slightly different from what I've talked about. I mean, it's not different in terms of genre, it's just a John Green book. And I really like John Green's work. And this is Hollywood Ending. Now, like I said, this is a romance. And it's about two characters. They are starring in an Andy Warhol biopic. And I thought that was kind of like strange. I didn't expect that when I was reading about this book. But yeah, it deals with loads of different things. Like we've got the romance, we've got newfound fame, they're actors, how you have to navigate love in this world, and also the cost of living in the public eye. And I just think this sounds really, really good. And it's actually his first adult novel. And yeah, I've had previously very good experiences with reading John Green. So I think this one is gonna be really good. I'm really looking forward to it because I love a story about love. And I think that it's going to be an interesting one about the fame aspect and like how their lives have changed, and they're going to be like increasingly like pushed in front of people, and just that public image is obviously so important to actors and so on, and how does that affect a developing relationship. Anyway, I wouldn't want to be famous. I wouldn't want to be like well known, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. And it's his first book, like I said, adult novel, first one in a decade. So really, I just can't wait to pick it up. I think it's going to be a really good one. But yeah, I don't really know too much about it. I kind of want to go into books without knowing great details. I kind of try and avoid as much as possible because yeah, I just want to go in as like a blank slate. And I think that's the best way to do it really when you read. The next book is Stephanie Garber's The Mirror of Infinite Endings. Now, this is a strange one because when I searched this book, I was a little bit confused because a Julie Soto book came out. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that Julie Soto had another book. But turns out that was a book that was released last year, exactly the same title. But that's not the book we're going to discuss. Stephanie Garber's new release is coming out in September. And this is a companion novel to one of my favourite YA series, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart. Now, this series follows our two main characters, and the companion novel, we are going to see these two characters, like, do they have their happily ever after? How is their happily ever after? Like, what's going on in their life? And I really like this series because it's so fairy tale vibes, and I don't think we get that in many books, although lots of books are based off fairy tales. They're like retellings of fairy tales, just they might be like darker romance equivalents of or whatever. So I think it's nice that this sticks quite true to the fairy tale essence. And yeah, this one's quite short. It's only around 250 pages, which I could read that so quickly. I could probably read that in like an hour. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it's worthwhile to read this series. I absolutely love it. Really enjoyed it. It's not like a heavy book. It's just like quite easy. And yeah, I think I read this when I was on the way to London on a train. That's my like memory. Sometimes I remember exactly where I was when I read a book. And I remember really enjoying it. And it was a quick series to fly through really, and we really do feel these characters are quite beloved and they have lots of emotions, and you know, I liked it and I wish them well. So hopefully they do get their happy ending in this book. The next one is a book that I am also extremely anticipating because in my mind the author can do no wrong, and that is Ana Huang. And I am going to pick this book up as soon as it gets released on Kindle, and it's around Halloween time, so I will be sat here reading it. And also in China they don't really do Halloween, so I won't be involved in any way, shape or form in that, so I can just sit at home and read this book, and I'm really happy to do that because it's the final book in the Gods of the Game series. Now, this book series is following a football team of football, kind of like the players. So we've had the defender, we've had the striker, and we've got the keeper now. So it's following different positions in the football team. And yeah, I actually like football, I really like it, and I think it's interesting because I like these sports romances, like hockey romance. I really enjoy reading it. I know nothing about hockey. I like reading, I don't know, a basketball romance. It's a basketball player. I know nothing about basketball. Well, in this case, I do know a little bit about football, but I feel even if you knew nothing about the sport, it doesn't matter. You can still read it. You can still enjoy it because the sport is in no way a big thing. It's just literally a job that somebody does. So I think it's really interesting how sports romances have become so popular, and yeah, they really are. People love them and obsess over them, and obviously we've got like Heated Rivalry, that's an ice hockey romance. Love it. So yeah, I'm really feeling drawn to this book. I'm going to read it immediately, and it's also a single dad romance. I feel like that can go either way for me. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But I feel like when it's like a single dad romance or a single parent romance, it's always as if they shouldn't feel love or they shouldn't get into any kind of romantic relationship. It's forbidden, like they can't have emotions, and it's kind of like they don't want to form a bond with other people. And I hope that it doesn't go that way too much. But yeah, hopefully this one's realistic and it's like a modern one. So I think that'll be really good. So yeah, hopefully I'm not just sticking to romantasy this year and I pick up modern contemporary ones like The Keeper. But yeah, highly anticipating that one. I now want to talk about my last book, which is Lucy Foley's The Murder at the Grand Alpine Hotel. Now, September is going to be a really busy month for me because this book is also a September release, and isn't it publishing month in September? So yeah, you need to really, get your list ready for all these September releases because we're going to have a hell of a time September and October trying to fit in all these reads. But this is actually one that I'm really looking forward to because it's been 50 years since the release of the last Miss Marple, and this is the continuation of like a Miss Marple story. So I'm actually in the midst at the moment of the Miss Marple series, and I actually think I prefer Poirot, but that's another thing. Don't want to go off on a tangent. And why I like the Miss Marple books, she is such a sharp woman. She is amazing for her age, and she can get into any conversation with anybody, and it doesn't matter who they are. They could be anybody. They could be a politician, they could be like a cleaner. She'll talk to them exactly the same and she'll find out any piece of information. She has definitely not lost a single brain cell up here. She is so good, and that's what I just know and love. So hopefully in this book we get that. Otherwise you've just really lost the essence of Miss Marple. We need to have like the same feelings about our main character. But yeah, I've had a really good experience with Lucy Foley in the past. I've read The Paris Apartment, that was a 4-star, and then The Guest List and The Hunting Party was 3, which is also a really good rating. So yeah, hopefully this one she can pull it off. I'm really hoping because I love Agatha Christie, and it's kind of like comfort reading for me. You just kind of know where the story's going to go. There's going to be a murder and it's going to be solved, right? So hopefully this one goes exactly the same way. Now it's time to move on to movies. Now, I'm not a big movie lover, but there are a few that are coming out this year that I am really interested in. And the first one is Disclosure Day. Now, this is a Steven Spielberg movie about aliens, and Steven Spielberg, he obviously is extremely famous for E.T. and I love E.T. So sign me up for anything about aliens. I am there. And also, I'm also there for Steven Spielberg because he's an incredible director. And I am actually looking forward to this one because I've not really watched anything sci-fi. I've still not watched Project Hail Mary. And it's not really like my go-to genre. If we were watching a movie, it wouldn't really be one that I would pick. But I think this one sounds quite interesting because we've got that alien aspect to it. But I don't really know too much. I, once again, try not to know too much when I am going into a film, I kind of want to go in with a blank slate. And yeah, I read though that this is partly inspired by real UFO reports, which sounds interesting. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really good. And I think it's the right time to kind of do all this like UFO conspiracy theory stuff, because I feel like it's so in the public eye at the moment, all of this kind of like UFO conspiracy to do with aliens, like is there a cover up? And yeah, it's the right time to release something like this because everybody's going to want to watch it. That's the 12th of June that one's coming out, so not too long. The next one is probably the most anticipated film. I've been talking about this for like a year, probably more than a year actually, with my sister, and that's The Odyssey. Charlotte and I, we did a course about mythology together, and that was when we learned all about The Odyssey, and it was actually something I didn't know anything about before. I did modern kind of like history. I never did anything about myths. I never did anything about ancient history. I never did anything like that. And I never actually had an interest in anything like that before. Like I don't know anything about like ancient Greece. I don't know anything about Rome, nothing like that. So for me to kind of like be obsessed about The Odyssey is a bit weird. Like I went out and bought the translated copies of The Odyssey, and yeah, I need to know more. But this one is a Christopher Nolan, so that's one reason that I'm obsessed with it, because Christopher Nolan, he is a genius. Heidi absolutely loves Christopher Nolan films, and yeah, I think that it's not just about him being a director, it's the fact that this is one of the most epic, biggest tales ever. So I think that how is that going to be put into a film? And obviously we've got so many different amazing actors and actresses that are going to be in this. So you just really hope that it's going to be pulled off in a really good way. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of the best of the year. And I think a lot of people will go and watch this. It's kind of like an epic, a bit like Oppenheimer. I feel like that was on the same thread. It was like an epic. So yeah, that's the 17th of July. I'm hoping that comes out in China because I really want to watch it. The next one is Pressure. Now, I think this is the exact kind of movie that I like. It's historical, we've got an amazing cast, and it's just about something that I'm interested in, and that is pre-D-Day. What's going on? Are they going to actually commit to landing on Normandy beaches? Are they going to do the aerial bombardment? Blah, 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 blah. And I think that sometimes I like watching these kind of like historical, in a way, dull films. I feel like a lot of people, this is not the type of movie they want to see. They want something action, they want something like an epic tale like The Odyssey. But I am really looking forward to this one because I love history. But yeah, this one is going to be released in the US at the end of May and mid-September in the UK. Now, why is it so different? I don't understand. Surely they could release it exactly the same time, but yeah. So who knows when I'm going to get to it. And I don't think it'll be released here. So it might be one that I wait and see it with my sister at some point, because I think she'll also really like this one. Hopefully it's a good one, because I really don't know what to expect. And I actually don't know who the cast are really. I know that it's got Andrew Scott, he's in it. And then I can't remember who's Eisenhower. I think it's Brendan Foster, the guy from The Mummy. I think it's him. So I really don't know, because I feel like I've only watched The Mummy with him in, and obviously he was much younger, and it was like 20 years ago or so. So really it could go anyway, but hopefully it's going to be good, because that's the one that I'm so looking forward to. The next one is perhaps the other one that I'm extremely excited for. I mean, to be honest, I'm excited for all of these, and that is The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. Now, I feel like everybody's anticipating this because I've seen the trailer. The trailer is so good. Their casting is so good. And I think The Hunger Games is one of my favourites. And it's kind of like a comfort watch. Heidi and I have watched all of these now, and we went to the cinema to see the last film. So no doubt we'll go into the cinema again to see this one. And I think that we've now got like the new cast. We're gonna see what the characters are like. Like, is it gonna work with these new different people playing the characters? And I think that, yeah, I've read all the books, thankfully, so now I'm not feeling pressure to finish the books before I watch the film. But I think it's going to be really good. What I like about the Hunger Games is kind of like all the outfits and the kind of like dystopian nature of it. And I feel like they know what they're doing. They know how to pull it off really, really well. And I think this is just going to be such a good one. And I'm hopeful that it doesn't get the hate. I feel like the one Songbirds, the last one got quite a lot of hate. I feel like a lot of people didn't like it, and I think it was because of the woman. But I really like her. I really liked her in it. I thought she was really good. I like the films, and I think it's because Heidi and I went to go and see it together, and we like discuss it and stuff. So hopefully this one we go and see it as well, and we really like it. And he actually really liked it. It's not really his type of film, but he did really like it. So hopefully it's good. 20th of November, so we've got a really long time to wait for that one, unfortunately. The final film I want to talk about is Michael, which is obviously about Michael Jackson. Now, Heidi and I went to watch MJ the musical in London just before we came to China, and we loved it. It was the best thing I've ever seen. It was so iconic. So we will be watching the film ASAP. As soon as possible, we're gonna go and watch it, and it's actually been released in China. I couldn't believe it, because to be honest, I don't actually think that many Chinese people know who Michael Jackson is. And I actually asked Heidi, do his mum and dad know? No clue, never heard of him. So yeah, hopefully we'll go watch it soon. It's the end of April it's coming out. So I've not been to see it yet. But so far, I've watched the trailer. It looks so good. I love the dancing. I love the costumes. I love just the whole like showmanship. I really like it. And obviously, having been to see the stage performance, that was just so good. The music, and I feel like because I've grown up listening to the music, it's just so kind of like important to me. So I definitely think that if they can replicate how I felt and all the just kind of like behind the scenes that was going on in the stage show into this, and you see a lot of like the family dynamic, and you see kind of like the production really of his life, then I do think that this is going to be a really good film. And yeah, Heidi's actually a really big fan of Michael Jackson. So that's why we're going, and that's why we'll probably love it. So it's now time to talk about TV shows, and actually some of these are not upcoming. They're ones that have already been released in 2026. I have just not watched them yet because I am like not good at all at committing to watching stuff. And the first one I want to talk about is Bridgerton series 4. Now, Bridgerton to me is a comfort watch, and I've read all of the books. I read them in like a month, literally so quickly, and I was eagerly anticipating the TV show. Watched the first 3 seasons as soon as they came out, and this one I've been putting off. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe it's one that I'll watch like on the plane or when I'm in the UK, because Heidi does not want to watch it. He's got no interest in it. He watched the first series with me and he didn't want to watch anymore. Fair enough. But I need to get watching it really soon because I love it. I love the drama. I love the outfits. I love the music. And one strange thing is when I go to Starbucks downstairs where we live, they're always playing Bridgerton music. I don't know why, but it just always reminds me that I need to watch Bridgerton, and I haven't done it yet. So this is like my call to action to start watching it really soon. The next one is Young Sherlock. This is kind of weird because I love Sherlock Holmes. I've read all of the Sherlock Holmes books, and I think why I like it, I love the mystery, and I just love how clever it is. I love the kind of like out of this world thinking from Sherlock Holmes. Like nobody else thinks like him. I love that. So when I saw the advertisement for Young Sherlock, and I was seeing a lot of like interviews with the cast, I kind of thought, whoa, what is this? I've never heard of this. Young Sherlock. Oh, Sherlock Holmes. I love this and I definitely need to watch it. And I think it'll be interesting to see like the perspective of him when he was younger. And I'm not 100% sure. I think it's like his university years. So he's obviously not like a child, but he's, you know, very much a young adult kind of exploring the world for the first time. And I think that would be really interesting. And I want to see like, was his thought process the same as when he was younger as it is when we see him as an adult? So yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out when I watch it. The next one is Monster, Lizzie Borden. Now, Lizzie Borden is kind of one of them stories where you just don't know guilty or not guilty, right? And I have been such a huge fan so far of this Netflix Monster series, and I know it's quite controversial. Loads of people hate it, but I'm not up to date in the series. We've watched series 1, which was Jeffrey Dahmer. We are now in the midst of season 2, and then we've got season 3 to watch. So we've got to do all of this before it comes out, and I think it's coming out around autumn time. That's when the other series have come out. There's no definitive date at the moment. But for now, I really like the series. I understand the controversy because there's a lot of creative liberties being taken, but that doesn't surprise me because it's a fictional retelling. I understand that they're going to make it more dramatic, more intense. They're going to include stuff that probably didn't happen because they want people to watch their show. So for me, I get it. But yeah, I think this one's going to be interesting because of that whole guilty, not guilty, very much like season 2 with the brothers. You know, there's a lot of people that say, you know, this happened, so they shouldn't have been found guilty. They still shouldn't be in prison, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully this one on the same theme. But also what I think is really key about this one, it was a long time ago. The actual crime took place in 1892. So how are they going to pull that off? Is it going to be historically accurate in the show? So I think that'd be good because the other crimes were like 90s. I don't know when the Ed Gein one was. I'm not sure. But the 90s was Jeffrey Dahmer. Was it 90s? 90s was when he got like murdered in prison. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see the time jump really. Lastly, I want to talk about one of my favourite shows in 2025 that we're going to get another version of in 2026, and that is Celebrity Traitors UK edition. This is one of the best reality TV shows ever. I don't watch any reality TV. I know reality TV is extremely popular, but it's just not really my thing. But why I watched this was I was recommended this by my auntie. So I was like, oh, I'll watch one, and then if I don't like it, I won't watch it. Well, Heidi and I, we were hooked on this. It's probably one of the best things I've ever watched. It was one of the best things ever created, and we loved it. We so enjoyed watching this, the drama and the chaos of the show. And Heidi does not know any of these celebrities because he doesn't remember these people. He doesn't know these people. He doesn't know their like ins and outs. And a lot of the people in the show were people like we kind of grew up with. We've seen in lots of stuff. And obviously he didn't grow up in the UK, so doesn't know them. But he was hooked and he really worked out their personalities. And it's just so good. It's such a clever show. You are hooked in about 5 minutes, honestly. I just could watch it again now and just be just so enthralled by it, and definitely will be watching this straight away when it's released. Me and my sister, we actually watched the like original non-celebrity version. Iconic. I think actually that one might be better because you do not know the people, so you don't really know like personality, you don't really have any kind of like preconceptions about the people. So yeah, cannot wait for Celebrity Traitors. And actually maybe I need to like watch a different country's one. Like I know the US one was extremely popular, so maybe At some point I need to get onto that, but for the moment I'm sticking with the UK. I just want to add quickly onto the end here another show, and I'm not actually sure if this is coming out in 2026. I think it's going to be 2027, early 2027 hopefully. Heidi and I absolutely love this show, and that is Line of Duty. Now, Line of Duty, when you kind of like read it, it's like police corruption. Do I want to watch that? It sounds a bit boring. Like, we know that happens, but I don't know if I want to watch anything about it. Tell me, please. This is the best TV show, and it took me a long time to watch this. I can't remember exactly when it like first came out, maybe like 2016, something like that, I don't know. I did not watch this until I think COVID time. I don't know exactly, but Heidi and I love this. We think it's so dramatic, and it's got all the characters. You kind of like see them in all these other kind of like policey, murdery, thrillery, mystery shows. So yeah, I love it. You will be hooked on this. You will want to rewatch it. Like, I'm definitely going to rewatch this before the next series comes out, because there's so many like little pieces of information that it all links up, and it's like a big web of lies and deceit in this TV show. And yeah, I kind of want to like piece together little bits, and I love it. It's honestly such a good TV show, and I feel like it doesn't really matter your age. You should watch this and you'll love it. So that is all the upcoming releases, books, TVs and movies in 2026, and a couple that have already been released that I just have not got to because I have been prioritising other stuff. I really do struggle to get to new releases. So this is kind of like my call to action. This is where I'm going to hold myself accountable in the future. And maybe in 2027, I'll do another one to see what do I want to get to then. But for now, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and continue following me on this content creation journey. I am really enjoying it so far. It definitely gives me a lot to do, and yeah, I really enjoy talking to the camera. It's so cathartic, and yeah, hopefully you have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video.